Good day, everyone. I'd like to welcome you back to Contemplating Catholicism. We just celebrated our third Sunday in Lent yesterday. And I don't know about you, but I always start Lent with a lot of expectations and some resolutions. I have a certain thing in mind what I'd like to see happen during Lent. When we go on Ash Wednesday and receive the cross on our foreheads, and we're reminded that we came from dust and that dust will return, it ought to remind us at the beginning of Lent that we're frail. Uh, but I often have these resolutions. So I'm going to not have any desserts. I'm going to give more to this particular cause, or I'm going to have these days of fasting, and I'm going to do it very perfectly. But when I get about this point in Lent, halfway through, I realize I've blown it by now. I hadn't lived up to those expectations. I may have foregone meat on Friday, but desserts, not so well. I'm like the 2-year-old I saw yesterday. The Knights of Columbus put out donuts and some tables outside for us and coffee after Mass. And there was a little 2-year-old I saw that came up to the table. He escaped from his mom, grabbed a donut, and stuffed it into his mouth as quickly as he could. Oh, I'm like that little 2-year-old. Sometimes in a moment of weakness, I give in to a dessert. And I'm like that 2-year-old. I like to stuff it in my mouth. But more subtle than that, sometimes during Lent, I blow it as far as pride goes. Pride is the subtle thing. You think you're arrived or you're making great progress, and then someone says something that hurts your feelings in some way. It hurts your pride, and you want to coddle the pride a little bit. I've got my feelings hurt. Or my opinions ought to count for more. I mean, I'm educated. Uh, what I say ought to be more important instead of thinking of others as more important than yourself. Self always wants to usurp itself. It wants to get in the way. And you think during Lent you're going to make some good spiritual progress, and then it seems like you fall on your face and you wonder, this battle with the world and the flesh and the devil, I'm not sure I'm getting the upper hand. And we fall. And what do? We say, well, I blew it. I'm a sinner. Uh, and we seek repentance and perhaps going to the sacrament of reconciliation and confessing something that we've come to realize in a fresh way. And we come to realize that we need the grace of God, because on my own, in my own strength, I can't do this. I can't live this crucified life. This life where we have the cross before us all the time, and we pick up our own cross and we follow Jesus. But then I have to realize, well, these weren't my expectations for Lent. But maybe God at this particular time is showing me my own sinfulness in some ways that I didn't see before, where the flesh asserts itself, where I want the place of pride, exerting myself. But then we look to that cross and we say, yeah, that's what it's all about. Jesus humbled himself. He went to the cross. He suffered for us. And I've got to die too. I live with this battle, but he gives me strength to fight it. It reminds me of what Jesus said to those who feel unworthy, for those who are falling short. He said, "Come to me, all who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest." God is able to sympathize with our weaknesses. We have a high priest, we are told in the book of Hebrews, who sympathizes with our weaknesses. He understands. He's also interceding for us, and he's given us the great sacraments so that we can be strengthened spiritually. And during Lent, we fall, and it's a time to realize God gives us his grace. Jesus said, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble in heart." Do we think of Jesus as being meek and humble in heart? He's good, he's gentle, he's meek, he's humble in heart. He welcomes the repentant sinner with open arms. We see that throughout the Gospels. So this Lent, yes, I blow it. I have great expectations coming into it. But maybe blowing it reminds me afresh that I need his grace. God offers his grace to us this Lent. Don't waste it. If Lent were 4 days, I could probably live up to certain expectation. But during the rest of the 40 days, let's embrace the mercy, the grace of God and the example of the cross. Thank you. I hope you have a good rest of Lent.